people of color in this country. We know that we are a target, but we meet that challenge. And if you were to hear the racist, sexist, just horrible vitriol that are visited on our offices and on the phone, in emails, threats left at our door, hate mail, letters sent, you know, it is very clear that people on the right, and Republicans in particular, are very upset that ACORN is effective and that it's been around for 40 years and that we are a powerful organization.
Bertha, I'd like to ask you, there's no doubt that there are organizations, conservative right-wing organizations that have targeted you, and it's clear that even Karl Rove was directing that ACORN be targeted. But there is the question of, has the organization, knowing that it's the target of these kinds of attacks, put in the kinds of controls to make it less possible for these folks to succeed? Right. For instance, the voter registration issue, there was no doubt that you, as you said, have flagged many of the false or voter forms that were filed by some of your volunteers, but at the same time, you were paying people per registration, which meant that they had an incentive to create as many registrations as possible. So what about the controls of the organization?
Number one, let us not keep repeating a lie. We never paid anyone, ever, by their card. We paid people by the hour. We had standards, and we fired anyone that we even suspected of falsifying a card. People got paid by the hour. Sometimes they had good days, sometimes they had bad days. But please, don't repeat what the right wing has put out there as fact. It's just not true. So let's talk about controls. Since I took over, I've done an overhaul of all the top management, our financial controls, and going through now office by office. We actually were in the process of making sure that we reviewed everything. Voter registration, for instance. We believe that the government should have universal automatic registration. ACORN or any other third-party group shouldn't have to do voter registration for Americans to participate in their own government, but they don't have that yet, and until they do, till the government stands up and does its job, we will make sure that our people, poor people, do get registered and do participate in the electoral process. But we believe that we shouldn't even be in this business, and no one should. The government should do it. We've said on this latest issue, anytime that we see some hole or crack in our procedures, boy, we're going to act on it very swiftly. Under my watch, we've already instituted new training, new reviews. We've suspended intake to make sure that we have a uniform way of dealing with this. And again, in this heightened political attack dimension that we're in, you are absolutely right, Juan. We now will make sure that we have ongoing training and review, because quite frankly, in 40 years, we've never come across anything like this. These people have unlimited resources and money and backers, and you know, this is a bit overwhelming, but we've been around for 40 years. We're going to be around for 40 more because we believe that poor people in this country should have power and should have a powerful organization. But you're right. We now realize that we really do have to go several steps further, not being paranoid, but just being prudent.
And I'd like to ask you also, what about the coincidence that this video appears just around the time that emails were released from Congress showing the direct involvement of Karl Rove in targeting ACORN?
Sure. I mean, look, here's what we've had. We were accused of causing the financial meltdown You know, when we were the ones warning about predatory lending, they put out, ACORN's going to get $4 billion from the stimulus money. ACORN's going to steal the census, the same way they stole the election, implying somehow or another that President Obama's election was illegitimate. Look, voter registration fraud. We've seen now that, again, we turned in everyone. Karl Rove, in fact, did target us on that, and all of that was false. These undercover videos, which, by the way, are illegal in several states because you can't take people without their knowledge. So we are suing this videographer because we think he committed a crime. We are asking for an investigation of him and Fox. But it is peculiar that these were shot during the summer. Karl Rove, all these Republican things were coming out, and all of a sudden, the night after President Obama's speech to Congress, all of a sudden now we explode with these secret tapes and secret videos. And I don't think it's coincidental. I think that the right, Republicans in particular, understand that they are out of power. They are mad as hell at the fact that Democrats are in power. They're mad as hell that poor people in this country are really participating. And this is their way of fighting back. Lies, rumors, innuendos, smear, McCarthyism, with just trying to put a chilling effect on any community group or anyone that would even stand up and say that they're organizing poor people. So it's not a coincidence. They try to blunt any forward movement, any progressive policies. And now we understand their strategy and their tactics. Their strategy from the beginning was to denigrate community organizing, denigrate people of color and poor people in this country. And they've carried that forward. We have a former community organizer as president. Stands to reason, let's attack the largest community organization in this country.
Bertha Lewis, we want to thank you very much for being with us, National CEO of ACORN. And Juan just referring to this latest release of emails looking at the Huffington Post last week. The House Judiciary Committee released over 5,000 pages of White House and Republican National Committee emails with transcripts of closed-door testimony by Karl Rove and the former White House counsel Harriet Miers. The documents reveal that Rove played a central role in sacking David Iglesias, the New Mexico U.S. attorney, one of the several federal prosecutors fired in the string of politically motivated dismissals in 2006. Iglesias refused to cooperate with the White House's political agenda of prosecuting ACORN for voter fraud. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. We'll be back in a minute. Among our guests, Grace Lee Boggs. Stay with us.